Morning, everyone. Sure your cameras are on. One, let's see you. All right, make sure your cameras are on. Everybody, please. Cameras, very important. All right. So I have Alexis. I see Clenard. I see Danny. What's up, Danny? I got Tina, Victoria. All right, and Jillian just signed in. All right, cool. So, welcome to day one of this real estate course, real estate salesperson course. This is going to be a 4-week course, but because there's some holidays in the middle, it will extend a couple more days after the 4-week period. So 4 week and a half, right? But in total is 4 weeks of a course, and then the exam is on the 5th week, right? Most of you already know my name is Bruno Quintella, and I'm going to be your instructor. Now, what I want to show you first before we even start is the resources that you have, and then I'll go straight into the class, okay? So the resources, one of the things you guys sign up for is right here. It's called the Student Portal. So if you guys go into newdirection.school, on the top right-hand corner, it says Student Login. Once you click Student Login, it will bring you to the Student Portal. In the Student Portal, you guys always going to have here right before every class. So this is the morning class, so it will show up right here. The link to sign in for the Zoom session. You also have a link there for the YouTube live stream. If it's a live stream, it does not count towards your hours. I actually made sure that we put something there that says that. It does not count towards your hours. But if you want to be part of the Zoom session, you click here, or you enter the meeting ID and the passcode, and you join the Zoom session. It changes every day. It changes per class. So make sure you guys always go back here, or you can go straight into the resources, and there's both the Facebook group and the WhatsApp group. In both of these, I always announce every morning and every afternoon, I always announce the Zoom session before we start the class. So if there's any change, it will be either here in the beginning or in the WhatsApp or the Facebook group, okay? Under the resources, guys, you can always download the ebook, which is what I'm going to present throughout the next few weeks. Download the ebook. We have our own Quizlet that you can practice at the end of each chapter. Once we're done with the chapter, with a class, you can go and practice Quizlet, see what you remember. It's great for association. It's not like the best to test yourselves as far as a school test or state test, but Quizlet is more like flashcards, and I'm going to show you right here. I organize it by topics, so the New Jersey portion, nationwide portion, and we're starting with nationwide for the first 3 weeks, and everything will be here. So, for instance, let's say we do ownership or real estate. These are flashcards. Click on it, and it tells you what it is, all right? So this is great for you to have quick association of what we're learning. So the right of survivorship, we find this when there's a co-owner that automatically receives a share when the other co-owner dies, and so on. Sole proprietorship, that means it's a business owned by one person, and so on. So use the flashcards, it's the best thing, or you can do match. Don't do the other ones, but flashcard or match are great to help you learn this, okay? The other thing we have is if you want to watch past videos on my YouTube channel, you can. There's some stuff that's not in the student portal yet, but it's available in the YouTube channel, right? You can watch the live classes. Again, they don't count towards your hours. Once you complete 90% of the course, there's a practice exam. The practice exam is very similar to the school exam and also very similar to the state exam. So I recommend you take, when you reach 90% of the course, and I'll remind you then, but I recommend that you take this test as many times as you can, because there's almost, I think it's almost 780 or 790 questions right now in the question bank. I keep on adding more, that's why I'm not sure exactly how many are now, but it's over 700 questions there. So it's just ways for you to make sure you're understanding. Don't try to memorize, because it's a lot of questions. Make sure you test yourselves and understand. To do your fingerprinting, because you're going to have to do fingerprinting for a criminal history check, They need to know how much of a criminal you guys are, and you know, make sure that you're able to do this job without you know, defrauding somebody. That's what it is. So they want to make sure you guys are saints. Therefore, you click here to prove your sainthood. Okay. The next thing you have is, as soon as you pass the school exam, you click right here to schedule your state exam. But we'll go over these final two. I'm gonna go over it towards the end when you guys are ready. Okay. The other thing you have here, you guys see right here, you have class calendar. So if there's any change in the calendars, it will be right here. You would see the chapters that are coming up. This is for the day class, so that's your class. If you scroll down, you have the night class. What's the advantage of knowing these two courses? Very simple. If you see the day class, right, and let's say you're going to miss tomorrow, chapter 4 and 5. You're going to go down here, and you're going to see when there's the next 4 and 5. So in this case will be December 8th, right here. All right? So you get to see which chapters you're going to miss. Always pay attention because these might change based on holidays or anything that I might have missed. I'm human. I can make mistakes as well. So if I missed a holiday or something, I will change here. Okay? We also have, it should pop up for you guys the day after you sign up. Recommended books. These are great books for self-growth, both in personal and business life. I always like to start with why. So figure out why you do what you do, or why you're trying to do what you're trying to do, you know, to figure out what to do and how to do it after. All right, so definitely great collection of books for you guys to learn from. You don't have to read them. You don't have to buy them. That's totally up to you. I just think it's a great collection, and we have them all here in our library at the school. All right, and the next thing, which is probably the most important of all. Every chapter we're going to go over is right here. Okay, we got all the chapters here. And every chapter has the class replay. Now, it might not be this class exactly, the class that we're attending right now, but it is a replay of a class that I thought it was important. The way it was laid out was simple. Sometimes, you know, there's either too many questions or not enough questions, so I kind of like to balance it out. So you click on the replay, and it plays whatever chapter you chose. Here are the chapter pages. If you don't want to download the whole ebook, if you want to go by sections, if that's easier for you, I've cut it all into pieces. So every chapter is separated in each of these, okay? And then the review quizzes that for the end of the chapter. So this is where you test yourself. The flashcards on Quizlets, it's great for immediate association of what you learn. So you see a word, okay, this is what it is. Great. But this is where it's going to show you if you actually learned something or not, because it's the comprehension side of it. Okay, so the review quizzes. Make sure you go through all of these as many times as you can. Class replays. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. It's 4 hours of classes. In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to lose most of you, right? Then I'll grab you again somewhere around an hour later, and you're going to be like, okay, I'm back, right? And then 5 minutes later, you're gone, and you just hear me go like, wow, 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 wow. That's all that's going to happen. I'm just letting you know, right? That's why it's good to have the class replay, and you're going to be like, okay, around minute 45, I completely lost Bruno. I zoned out. I went, you know, think about my dog. I went to think about jobs, and I went to think about my current situation. What did Bruno say at minute 45? Go here and just watch it all over. You don't have to watch everything, but key things that you think you need to repeat or that you might have not paid attention to, just click here and watch it again, okay? So that's pretty much it as far as the student portal for now. We are doing some upgrades. There's going to be a lot more stuff added. The other thing I have, this is all across the website, is this, all right? I added a chat, as it says here, customer support. I added a chat, and you guys, if you have a question, you have the WhatsApp group, you have the Facebook group, or you can go to the website if you don't have any of these, because I had some people complain, Bruno, I don't have WhatsApp, I don't have Facebook. Big mistake in today's day and age, by the way. Facebook is key, Instagram is key, so make sure you have some type of social media. But you can go here and talk to one of us directly. Most likely, I'll be the one answering most of your questions, but we have a great team here to help you as well with any questions you have regarding classes, okay? So, or even anything that's more technical, they will forward the message to me, and I will respond to you. If it's something related to a particular chapter, but if it's general questions regarding the school exam, or anything like that, anybody here can help you, all right? So this is available for you guys at any time. And it doesn't matter if you're a student or not, this is available. And I'm saying this because, so you guys know, we're also live on YouTube right now. So if anybody's watching on YouTube and you have any questions, you can always click there and I'll be able to answer, all right? So guys, that's pretty much it. Oh, just one more thing. This is how you see it on your phone if you turn sideways. If you have your phone vertically, then it's going to show up like this. All right, and a lot of people think, oh, Bruno, I cannot see anything because I click here, and nothing shows. Now, on mobile, if you don't flip it sideways, right, then you have to scroll all the way down, and here you go. Everything's down here, okay? So I'm just giving you a heads up. If you don't see it, let's say real estate economics, boom, right there. All right, you just have to scroll all the way down, but I promise all the info is there available for you. Optimized for mobile, even for Mac, it works there, most of the stuff, even though I don't like Macs that much. All right, and this is the Facebook group. If you're ever there, this is our tutoring site, asktherealestateinstructor.com. You guys don't need it because it's already included with your plan, but asktherealestateinstructor.com, and it has pretty much the same resources. If you guys want to buy the book, the physical book, you can click here. And here's the class announcement. All right, so somebody just shared something here. There's questions. Again, you have the WhatsApp group, you have the Facebook group. There's no excuses. Let's just put it like that. There's no excuses. There's so many resources for you guys that you can just take advantage of. All right. With that being said, you guys have any questions before we start? All questions should be presented in the Zoom chat, by the way. I do have a question from Tina. So you guys know I present the questions as well, so everybody sees the questions. Is there any way for me to see the chapters I missed so I can make sure to do the morning classes for them? Yes. The way to know the chapters you missed is look at your notes. That's the easiest way. The hardest way is you're going to put me to work to go look for the chapters you missed in the evening so I can tell you which chapters you do in the morning. But I'll check them, don't worry. Okay? Yes, I'll take the extra step. I will go find it for you. All right? Okay. Let me not murder your name. Sanity or Sanity? One or two? Close? One? Sanity? Okay. All right. I always apologize. I don't want to make sure I don't murder anybody's name. So is it the same ID and password every day for Zoom? No, this is what I was showing you here. This changes every day based on the chapters that we're covering, okay? So make sure you always go to the student portal or to the Facebook group or to the WhatsApp group, whatever you prefer, and it's going to be there. If you miss something, you can always call us or click right here and ask me. All right, one of us will answer what the chapter is. Okay? You said it's okay, what, for me to mispronounce your name? Okay, all right, no problem. All right, guys, so it looks like everybody has joined already. Make sure all your cameras are on. If it's the first time that you're taking this course, cameras must be on you, facing you, not in the corner, not showing your forehead. I need to see your whole face, and make sure you're paying attention to the class. That's what it is, okay? If you're here as a repeat, you don't have to. But it's always nice to see your face, just saying. Right, Marlene? There you go. Nidia, I see that you're there too, so typing is okay now? You don't know? Okay, cool. Let's find out. Go ahead, type something. Nidia did a couple of classes before and she couldn't type. It was one thing or the other. Multitasking is not easy for everybody. Some people can listen and watch and whatever, but then typing is a problem. Okay, it worked, Nidia. Perfect. Awesome. There you go. All right, guys. So we're going to start this first chapter. We're going to cover 3 chapters today. Usually it's 2 chapters a day, but this chapter right here is just an intro. Okay? It's very brief. I'm not going to there's nothing highlighted here, and I'm going to show you guys this whole book is already pre-highlighted for you in things that I think are key. And the reason why I pre-highlighted it is to make sure you guys focus more on listening and taking your own notes versus focusing on, I got to highlight, I got to take notes, I got to listen, right? So pretty much I made it easier for you, okay? So just pay attention. I'm going to call a few things out as being very important, okay? And but I'll let you know once we get there. So chapter 1, quick preview of what the real estate business is. All right, so we're going to talk about real estate professions to start. In the real estate professions, we have real estate activities, professional specialties, and property type specialization. In the broadest sense, right here, the real estate industry is the largest single industry in the American economy. And within it, one might include the construction industry itself, often considered our country's largest business. Because if real estate is not working, nothing else is working. Think about it. Somebody needs to always either rent or buy. It's one of those businesses, like food business, it's one of those businesses that never ends. If we don't have real estate, where are people going to live, right? So in addition, real estate industry may be said to include creation, management, and demolition of every residence and business facility in the nation. So offices, warehouses, factories, stores, and special purpose buildings such as hospitals and government facilities. The real estate business would include as well the managing of all undeveloped land in the country, national parks, forests, and the vast quantity of unused federal property. The real estate professionals are individuals and business organizations whose sole enterprise is performing a real estate related service or function. I'm not going to highlight, but I'm going to show you here. This is what we do. We provide a real estate related service or function. And this is key, and I'll repeat a bunch of times. It's key to understand because we don't sell real estate, we don't buy real estate. We provide a service for the seller to sell, for the buyer to buy. So we facilitate, we're mediators, we're the people are in the middle helping both parties achieve whatever they need to achieve, okay? So it provides some type of service. Real estate professionals perform the following property-related functions. There are people involved in the creation and improvement, management and maintenance, demolition, investment ownership, regulation, and transfer of real estate. Under creation and improvement, it says here, creating real estate properties from raw land involves capital formation, financing, construction, contracting, and regulatory approvals. And the key parties involved in this aspect of the business generally are a developer, the landowner, and the mortgage lender. Also involved are market analysts, architects, engineers, space planners, interior designers, and construction subcontractors. So as salespeople, we don't participate much in the creation or improvement of real estate. It's not our part. But somebody had to sell the land to these people. That's our part. Okay, and we're going to see that in a little bit. And hopefully when they sell the land after improving, or after putting a building on it, hopefully they'll still use you. Now, experts who manage the legal aspects of the development project include real estate attorneys, title companies, surveyors, property insurance companies, and government regulatory officials. The brokerage community, with the assistance of professional appraisers, usually handles the ownership and leasing transactions that occur over the many phases of the development. As far as management and maintenance, all real estate, whether raw land or improved property, must be managed and maintained. And the two principal types of managers are property managers and asset managers. Property managers and their staff, they oversee specific properties on behalf of the owners, making sure that the condition of the property and its financial performance meets specific standards. While asset managers, they oversee groups of properties or portfolios, and their role is to achieve the investment objectives of the owners as opposed to managing day-to-day operations. Maintenance personnel includes engineers, system technicians, janitorial staff, and other employees needed to maintain the property's condition. Demolition, obviously, we're definitely not part of demolition, even though it's a lot of fun. But demolition experts, in conjunction with excavation and debris removal experts, serve to remove properties that are no longer economically viable from the market. And again, guys, I'm going a little fast because it's just an overview. I want to focus on the actual chapters we need to, okay? As far as investment ownership, you guys know what this is, I'm sure, right? A specialized niche in its real estate business is the real estate investor who risks capital in order to buy, hold, and sell property. In contrast to property owners whose primary interest is in some other business, the real estate investor focuses on investing and exploiting the real estate investment opportunities for profit. The real estate investor provides capital and liquidity to the real estate market. As far as regulation, obviously has nothing to do with us either. Regulation is either by federal or state rules, trickling down to counties or even municipalities. So all real estate is to some degree regulated by governments, and the principal areas of regulation are usage, taxation, and housing administration. Professional regulatory functions include public planners, zoning administrators, building inspectors, assessors, and administrators of specific federal statutes such as federal fair housing laws. We're going to go over all these laws right here. We're going to talk about usage, what you can and cannot do with your property, taxation, how you're being taxed, housing administration, which falls under also federal fair housing, which is non-discriminatory practices, right? We're going to talk about public planning. We're going to talk about zoning. We're going to cover all this stuff over the next couple of weeks. Transfer. Now, this is where we get involved. The rights and interests of real estate can be bought, sold, assigned, leased, exchanged, inherited, or otherwise transferred from one owner to another. And real estate brokers and the brokers, salespeople generally, are generally centrally involved in such transfers. Other professional participants, and we have to deal with these, and I recommend you build a team. Other professional participants are mortgage brokers, so definitely get one or two to be on your team. Mortgage bankers, these are people that lend their own money. We'll talk about that in chapter 17. Appraisers, insurers, and title companies, right? So these are all involved in the transfer of real estate. So in summary, the 6 primary functional areas that are populated by professionals with the following specialties. Under creating, we just spoke about developers, public and private planners, architects, building contractors, space planners, mortgage lenders, bankers, title and escrow companies, insurers, real estate brokers and agents, market analysts, surveyors, engineers, public and private inspectors, mortgage brokers, security companies, attorneys, and appraisers. Again, going fast because we will cover all this in detail. For managing and maintaining, we have property managers, maintenance engineers, technicians, corporate managers, asset managers and maintenance. For destroying, you have demolition contractors and excavators. For holding, now it starts making more sense for you guys, investors, corporate managers. Regulating, you need to know the tax assessor, for instance, zoning administrators, public planners, building inspectors. Get very familiar with these, the regulating ones. For transferring, we have brokers and agents, so you guys, lenders, bankers, title escrow companies, insurers, appraisers, mortgage brokers, attorneys, and surveyors. Okay? All right, so these are the type of people who can get involved in the real estate business. Now, within the real estate business, some brokers and some salespeople, they specialize in particular types of properties, which I highly recommend you do. Instead of trying to grab the whole world, okay, I recommend that you focus on a particular type of property. Very, very important, okay? Guys, make sure all of you have your cameras on. Thank you very much. Otherwise, it doesn't count towards your hours. Now, in addition to specializing by function, many professionals specialize in the type of property you work with according to the purpose of ownership. Properties are classified as residential, commercial, or investment properties. Residential property refers to, obviously, property that is owned and used for habitation, and such properties may be further classified in terms of how many families they're designed to house. So single family, two family, three family, four, and so on. Whether they're attached to other units or detached, and so forth. Commercial property generally refers to retail and office properties, but may also include industrial real estate. The term commercial relates to the fact that the property can potentially generate income from a business usage. Investment properties. These refer to any property that is held by its owners for investment purposes, and all classifications of property may be investment properties. Okay? Generally, however, the term does not refer to owner-occupied residences. So, an investment property, even though you could be owner-occupied, an investment property usually is one that generates income, right? So, if you occupy one of the units, then it's owner-occupied property. So even though such properties constitute an investment. So generally, investment properties is one where you do not live. Okay? Apartments, condominiums, co-ops, and single-family homes may be considered investment properties if non-occupants own the property for investment purposes. Okay? Again, according to the use, the following classifications are accepted. There's residential properties, there's residential income. Notice the difference. Residential and residential income. This is where I live, this is what I invest. There's office, there's retail, there's industrial, farm and ranch, there's special purpose and land. Different types of classifications for properties. Now these categories are not absolute since properties often have overlapping uses, like mixed use. But a bank, for example, may have retail as well as office operations. An industrial distribution facility may include extensive office space as well, and their retail center may also have or contain office spaces. Special purpose properties include publicly and privately owned recreational facilities, government buildings, churches, schools, and so on. All right, focusing a little bit on real estate brokerage, which is our main field here, real estate brokerage. We're going to talk about forms of specialization and skills and knowledge. Forms of specialization, skills, and knowledge. So, most newly licensed practitioners choose to begin their real estate careers in residential brokerage. This is what I usually recommend to everybody anyway, because it's the easiest. Residential is the easiest to deal with. Now, when I say easiest, is because it's also considered the fastest turnaround. Like for you to rent a residential versus renting a commercial, it's like it's two worlds apart. To rent residential, you can rent in a couple of days. To rent commercial, it could take you months, it could take you years, depending on the space, right? And the desire. Where residential is always desirable. To sell residential, there's always a buyer for residential, right? There's always a buyer for commercial too, but it's more specialized, right? Not everybody wants to buy a commercial building. Not everybody qualifies to buy a commercial building, where the majority of the people qualify for residential. So residential is always the preferred when somebody starts, okay? The primary real estate brokerage activities involve performance of one of the following tasks: And guys, this is exactly what we do. We don't sell real estate, we don't buy real estate. Okay? If we represent the seller, we're looking for a buyer. If we represent the buyer, we're looking for a seller. If we represent the landlord, we're looking for a tenant. If we represent the tenant, we're looking for a landlord. It's as simple as that. Okay, guys? That's all we do. And I make it sound like we don't do anything, but we actually do a lot. But that's all we do. We help, we facilitate, right? As I usually say, we are the Airbnb, right? The Airbnb is like a hotel, right? Without having properties. It's a hotel without having properties. They rent, it's a platform for the people's properties. They pretty much facilitate somebody that wants to rent, somebody that has space available to rent, and they facilitate that, right? That's what we do. We have no real estate to sell. We have no real estate to buy. Just help them, connect them, okay? We're the Uber of real estate, whatever you want to call it. Easy. All right, guys, make sure your camera, get used to this. I'm going to repeat this like 10 times over the next 20 days classes, right? So keep your cameras on, especially if it's your first time. I need to have that camera on. Otherwise, it does not count towards your hours. I've been thinking about recording this so I can just hit replay once in a while, right? Tina says yes, do it. Anyway, a seller by a landlord or tenant hires a broker to procure the opposite party to the sale or lease transaction. To help the job get done, the broker hires licensed agents as assistants. And the brokerage company in the simplest form consists of broker and the broker's agents, who together locate buyers, sellers, tenants, and landlords for the broker's clients. Now, in the modern brokerage environment, brokers and agents specialize along these lines. Property type, geographical area, type of transaction, type of client, and type of relationship. Again, you need to focus on something so that you can master it, and then you go for everything else. Property type. Some people are strictly residential agents. Some people are commercial agents, some industrial, some are land agents. That's what they specialize in. But even within that, there's different levels, okay? Another thing is geographical area. I'll give you the example. I always focus in Newark. That's my area. It's Newark, right? And if it's something outside of Newark, usually what I do is refer to somebody else, right? I'll try to find usually somebody within my office that represents the particular area that my client wants, and I'll work with them, right? There's no need to be greedy. If we work together, we share commission. But at least, hey, you're the expert in Linden, as an example, right? You're the expert in Linden. I know nothing about Linden. I mean, I know where Linden is. I know where the shops are. I know a few things around there. But I'm going to refer to you, and in turn, I'll get a referral fee, but I didn't have to do the work, or I didn't have to research about Linden, research about what the requirements are for this particular type of clients, for the type of property that they want to buy. Do they need a permit for this? Do they need a permit for that? Are they allowed to do this? Are they allowed to do that in Linden? Every municipality has their own rules and regulations. There's a standard that are presented by the state, and then it trickles down to the counties, and in the individual municipalities might have different rules and regulations, okay? So it's very important you guys understand this. In the beginning, I guarantee you're going to be all over. You're going to be the New Jersey real estate salesperson, the New York real estate salesperson, the Florida real estate salesperson. That's what people do. In the beginning, they get their license. I grab anything and everything that I can because I'm in the beginning. I'm hungry. I'm going to waste all my gas. I'm going to make sure my tires get bald, right? As I'm trying to get this business running, all right? That's the beginning. Then once you're established, you're going to start focusing on a particular area. You're going to realize that you need to be more efficient with your time. To be efficient with your time, you cannot be driving all over the place, all right? It's very, very important. So again, geographical area, sometimes is very, very important for this business. So you could be a residential agent in Newark, a residential agent in Linden. You could be a commercial agent in Jersey City, whatever. You figure it out. Some agents even focus on the type of transaction. There's agents that do sales. There's agents that focus on leases only. I had a friend of mine that he made a ton of money. All he did was leasing. Every time a property was up for rent here in Newark, that's what he used to do. He was the go-to person. People knew he had the rentals, right? He made a ton of money because rentals are fast, right? And if he made $500 only, which he made more, but if he made $500 only for every person that he helped rent, and he was helping like 2 or 3 people a day, that was $1,500 a day, if that's all he was making. You understand? Rentals here were flying so fast that he was the one, everybody knew he was the one. You were the landlord, you would contact him. Right? You were a tenant, you knew you had to contact him. So, okay? Some people also focus on the type of client. There's people that want to deal with sellers only. There's people that want to deal with buyers only. So if you deal with sellers only, you're a listing agent. If you deal with buyers, you're a buyer's agent or a selling agent. Okay? And so on. All right, there's a few things. Let's go to skills and knowledge. There's a few things you guys are going to need to learn along the way. A few things you're going to need to learn along the way, which is, again, skills and knowledge. You need to, what do I mean? You need to grow. Let's put it like that. In the beginning, what do you know? Absolutely nothing. But you need to grow. And growing, you're going to have to develop the skills and the knowledge to help your client. That's very, very important. What skills are we talking about? First of all, you develop the knowledge in local market conditions, local properties, real estate principles, real estate law, which is part of what these two is what you're learning right now. But you're going to keep learning along the way. Every 2 years at least, you have to do CE credits, continuous education. But if you think only about CE credits as part of your development, you're going to be falling way behind the competition. You need to constantly develop yourself. Don't just wait for the 2 years. Constantly take courses on improving yourself. Okay. Value estimation, real estate financing, investment principles. And I know we're not the ones that deal with real estate financing. That's the mortgage broker, right? Or a loan originator. But if you don't know the basics of real estate financing, how can you serve your client then? You just throw them to the wolves? Hey, there's some mortgage broker out there. Go ahead, deal with him. No. You need to be able to, it's your responsibility. You need to be able to also help negotiate the mortgage loan. You need to be able to indicate them to the proper mortgage broker. Okay? Investment principles, license laws, real estate math calculations, and closing procedures. Now, the good thing is that most of it you're going to learn here today. I mean, not today, throughout these, from today on, right? The bad thing is that as soon as you pass the state exam, everything is going to be an absolute blank. Yeah. As soon for over the next couple of weeks, you're going to learn. You pass the state exam and then wiped out of your head. And I guarantee you that because I've experienced that several times where we have agents that join us and we talk to them and say, hey, what is this? What is that? And literally, I don't know if you ever seen a deer in the headlights, right? A deer right in front of you in the headlights, if you ever seen it, or maybe in the movies, right? They just stare at you like panic mode. And that's exactly what happens, right? So you ask him a question and it's gone. You learn what you need to learn to pass the exam, right? Everything else comes with practice. Everything else comes with hands-on, putting it in practice versus the theory, okay? So you need to develop, once you have the knowledge, you need to start developing financial qualification. Again, we're not the loan officers. But if you can figure out if that client can buy or not right away, right? You can save a lot of time for your clients and for yourself. You can save a lot of time for your client just by letting them know, hey, I think you need to do this or need to do that before you can buy. But Let's gather all the paperwork, sit down with the loan officer. You saved a lot of time just by getting everything ready. Okay? Market analysis, marketing practices, ethical practices, liability management, data management, selling, time management, communication, writing, and basic computer operations. So all these skills you need to develop in order to serve your client best. The good news is that your broker or your brokerage is supposed to help you with all this stuff. All right, and to finalize, we have trade organizations. Well, trade organization is very simple. Trade organization is people that create these organizations to assist members of that organization to develop, to grow. All right. So some of the trade organizations that we have are, for instance, the American Society of Appraisers. So if you're going to be an appraiser, being part of the American Society of Appraisers makes sense, doesn't it? American Society of Home Inspectors, the same thing. BOMA, which is Building Owners and Managers Association for property managers. CCIM is for commercial, right? Counselors of Real Estate. IREM is for property management as well. Mortgage Bankers of Association, obviously for people in mortgages, and so on. So there's a lot of different associations. The most common one that you will be part of, salespeople, the most common that you'll be part of is the National Association of Realtors, okay? NAR, National Association of Realtors. Get familiar with that because you will be part of it, okay? This will be more towards the end of this course. We're going to talk about regulation, state-specific, right? There's the nationally commonly accepted regulations, but then each state actually enforces their own rules. And that's why every state is different. Every license in every state is different. That's why some states don't accept our license, right? And we don't accept the license from every state because of these differences. There's not a uniform license. Like, for instance, the mortgage license is a federal license. So it's available to every state. All you need to do is like 4 hours or whatever it is from a state specific, and boom, you're authorizing that state. All right? So again, state regulates agency, which we'll talk about later, but agency is employer-employee relationship. We're going to talk about contracts as well. That's regulated by the state. Disclosures, environmental impact, and fair housing. All right, guys? You have any questions regarding this? If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Whenever you have a chance. Along the way, you can just drop questions, okay? All right, so we're going to take a quick 5-minute break. This is the only day we have 2 breaks. Okay, a quick 5-minute break as I set up for the next chapter, chapter 2. And that one, we're going to go a little slower, a little bit more in detail, okay? So quick 5-minute break. If you need to go to the bathroom, run. If you need to get coffee, get it. If you need to get tea, get it. If you need to get Monster, you need to get Red Bull, whatever you need to stay awake because it's early in the morning still for some of you, I can tell. So go ahead and do it. You got 5 minutes. We'll be back at 11:05. All right? See you guys in a bit.